Welcome back, beautiful humans, to Kick Up Flicks. My name is Chris D, and let me tell you something. The movie that we're gonna go over, The Tomorrow War, was actually a surprisingly good movie. I didn't have any expectations for this movie. I didn't even know it was coming out. I saw the trailer once, and I was like, boom, I just want to see this movie. However, from this point forward, we are going to have spoilers kind of within it because we're not going to do a deep dive into it unless you guys want a deep dive. But other than that, we're just going to generally talk about the movie and see what we kind of think. Just to let you know, I don't ever rag or hate on other actors, directors, cinematographers. It doesn't matter. Everybody who's a part of this movie has worked really hard. So we're just here to kind of relax and enjoy this film and kind of talk about it. You tell me what your favorite part is, or what your not favorite part is, or what didn't make sense to you. Those are amazing things to find out and know about. The director for this movie is Chris McKay. He also directed movies like the Lego Movie and the Lego Batman movie. He's directed other things, but telling you something a little bit more recent. But this is definitely good, diverse way of creating a film because it was beautiful. I do like it. I mean, was it the best movie of all time I've ever seen? No. But is it the worst movie I've ever seen? No. Did it make me happy? Yes. At the long point, the main actor in this movie is Chris Pratt. He actually did a fantastic job. He plays a war veteran who was deployed twice. He's a science teacher. He has a wife and a daughter. And early on in the movie, you find out that he gets denied for a job opportunity and he wants something more. He actually says that he knows that he wants something special. I kind of relate to this character because after I got out of the military, I also didn't know what to do, and it kind of took an effect on me in a weird way where it's kind of like there was nothing that I can do that would actually make me happy, and I couldn't really pick out my mind. So this is kind of like a character I could relate to, and I'm pretty sure other people that are veterans and not veterans that are also not veterans could also relate to. We find out pretty quickly that, he sits down, starts watching a soccer game, and then this portal comes out, and then they announce that they're 30 years from the future, and that the world is going to end very, very soon. So that in itself is a kind of starter. So they don't spend a lot of time worrying about it. They just put the world into action. And they say that they built these teleporters all over around the world. And now, if you're thinking to yourself, wow, doesn't that change the time stream? Well, here goes the thing. We're used to seeing the time stream in DC or in comic books where it's kind of you have all these people with powers and whatnot. But this is actually one of the few times that I actually kind of enjoy it where it's just humans. There's no time bureau or time group of people at the end of time trying to, control time or fix it. We don't know exactly what would happen if somebody from the future came back to the past, or somebody from the past went to the future and then came back and decided to change things. All I know is this, is that if somebody comes from the future and comes back to the past, automatically your time changes. So this right here is a huge spoiler. They did say in the movie that Chris Pratt, when he got drafted, because it was a world draft at this point in time, when he got drafted into this thing, they told him, oh, you're going to die in 7 years. Well, then right there, if he happens to die in the future, what does that say? You've automatically changed time, and that the same timeline that you're on might not be the same. However, you do know that you're going to be attacked by aliens at some point in time. It could be a little bit earlier, could be a little bit later, it could be the exact same time. You don't know. And however, also on top of that, if everyone that they're sending early dies before that time, then that's saying that they're dying ahead of their time because they're dying at a different date. However the case. The other actors that were in this film. J.K. Simmons plays Mr. Forrester's father, which is Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt plays Mr. Forrester. J.K. Simmons plays Senior Mr. Forrester. And, he looked pretty jacked. He did. He looked pretty good. And he played his part magnificently. I couldn't see it. He did a fantastic job. He played a wonderful Vietnam vet that suffers from a post-traumatic stress during that time. During that time. Other things, and The good thing is that it didn't need to be a big, gigantic, magnificent part. When he was in it, it mattered. And it was like a point that showed like a very pinnacle why it showed why he was there. And the storytelling wise, everything, it did a fantastic job in doing what he needed to do to get that point across to us. Now, in this movie, one thing I really did like was the comedy relief. That was played by Sam Richardson. He played Gator. And automatically, this man is kind of funny. The whole entire time, for the amount of time that he was in the film, it was hilarious. And to be honest, I was like, I hope this dude doesn't die. He is funny. You know, when they went through the teleport and they came back, not came back, but when they landed and stuff like that, and he was going down some stairs, and you know, just everything about his character added a really huge comedic relief. And at a certain point in time, they needed just to move on and kind of cut him out, and they kind of moved on from that point in the section. Edwin Hodge played another good character named Dorian. He did a fantastic job. He's a guy who's suffering from cancer, and that he's going to die very soon, and he wants to die the way he wants to die. He's a douchebag about it in the end, but at the very end, he sticks to what he says, and I think that's a beautiful way. He dies the way he wants to die. He didn't get to die in the future, and he lived how he wanted to live. He didn't let, you know, a doctor or anybody stop him from doing what he want for this character, and I thought that was beautiful. The one thing that was actually interesting to me was the monsters that they used. How smart and intelligent, fast and durable they actually were. It's almost like they didn't feel pain. You don't really find out anything about them, if they were created or where they were originally from, because believe it or not, the future does not know much about them. And it's not like they had a lot of time to study them. The only thing that they know is that they have two weaknesses, and pretty much everything else on their body can take is like a bullet sponge, to be honest. I mean, they had armor. I don't know why the future would not kill some, take their bodies and detach their armor and try to wear it in some kind of way, because the armor was pretty legit, or see if they could try to match it in some kind of way. I loved how they kind of how they had kind of communication. The monsters also had a way to communicate through yelling and screaming, and they had like these vocal pitches and sounds I thought was really cool. And this is how they would, you know, kind of coordinate to cut you off. And they were like a true hunting pack. The one thing that kind of didn't make sense was, oh, they smell blood for over a mile away, but yet they wouldn't smell a human. That's the only thing that didn't make sense to me at that point in time. So, you know, at the end, a lot of people die, but at the same time, you know, throughout the movie, are they making the right choices? Will you make those right choices at the same time? Do you think you'd make the choices if you saw somebody got hurt? Would you try to go back and save them and then potentially leave them behind? I mean, at the end of the day, there are missiles coming. So this movie delivers on a lot of different messages. You know, it delivered on global warming. It delivered on people getting second chances. It's telling you that, you know, we don't know how the world's going to turn out if it keeps getting hotter, I guess. You know, the power of governments combined. And now, if you really think about it, they have the ability to teleport 30 years into the past, which is, in my mind, a freaking genius. Can you imagine being able, at will, to jump in 30 years at the past? Could that change the future? Probably, but would it mess up the time as well? I want your opinion on that fact too. Do you think that the world today, if we had the technology of 30 years from the future, use that to go 30 years back into the past, right? Which is actually kind of funny, because they kind of explain how they teleport things and how it's not exactly exact, but yet they can teleport you to an exact place, which I found kind of funny. But let me know down in the comments, what did you think about this movie? If you have the ability to watch, what would interest you about this movie, if anything? And if you want to know more and see more, please subscribe. Click that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And don't forget to click the bell notification for whenever I post my next video. Till then. I'll see you later.